Negative. Use the word negative to describe attitudes, opinions, responses, comments, and results. Negative is the opposite of positive. Yolanda has a negative attitude at work. Why is she so negative about everything? Don't be so negative. Harold developed negative feelings about his job. It's a good idea to stay away from people who are negative if you want to succeed in life. His answer to the proposal was negative. The reviews of the movie were mostly negative. The student countered the teacher's position with a negative argument. Public reaction to the speech was largely negative. Negative feedback from employees resulted in changes to their health insurance benefits. The results of the pregnancy test were negative. Mario tested negative for the virus. We're all relieved that the tests came back negative. The negative effects of alcohol on the body and the brain are well known. If you multiply two negative numbers together, the result is a positive number. We studied negative ions in science class today. Peter's blood type is AB negative. Batteries have negative and positive terminals. It's also possible to use negative as a noun. Their response was in the negative. You have to weigh the positives against the negatives when making a decision. The negativity in the room could not be offset by Maria's cheerful attitude. Neglect. To neglect is to choose not to do something or to ignore a responsibility. The woman was neglecting her children, so the state took them away from her. Because Steve neglected his responsibilities at work, he was let go. You can't neglect to pay your taxes in the United States. Eventually, the U.S. government will find out and fine you or put you in jail. Don't neglect your duties. The house was neglected by the owners and eventually torn down. In the next set of sentences, the word neglect is a noun. After years and years of neglect, the house was torn down because there were too many things that needed to be fixed. The old man died of neglect in a nursing home. Horses suffering from neglect had to be put down. Child neglect is a punishable offense in the United States. If you have children, you must take care of them. Negotiate. To negotiate is to go through the process of forming an agreement or making a deal. This word is often used in business and government. Most car dealers are willing to negotiate on the price of a vehicle. Do you normally pay the price shown on a price tag, or do you negotiate? The seller of the house says she won't negotiate. The two sides in the Civil War refused to negotiate. The government negotiated for the release of hostages. The word negotiation is a noun. Workers in management went through a series of negotiations before settling on a contract. Negotiations over the release of the hostages lasted for several days. Brian says he's not very good at negotiating. Skilled negotiators created the terms for the agreement. Nerve. A nerve is connected to your body's nervous system and your brain. Nerves are what allow you to have a sense of feeling in your body, whether that's pleasure or pain. Tiny nerve endings in your fingers allow you to have a sense of touch. Without nerves, a person wouldn't have any sense of feeling in the body. Nerve damage can result from a physical injury or from extremely high or low temperatures. My neighbor, Dorothy, has some nerve pain in her feet. Bob has a nerve condition that causes him to feel physical discomfort very easily. A dentist gives a patient Novocaine to temporarily deaden the nerves that are responsible for tooth pain. The word nerve is often used to describe a person's personality or stamina. That must have hit a nerve. That guy is getting on my nerves. You've got a lot of nerve. That guy's got a lot of nerve. Mountain climbing takes a lot of nerve. It takes a lot of nerve to get up on stage and sing in front of other people. It takes nerves of steel to be a firefighter. I don't have the nerve to do that. Nervous. To be nervous is to feel concern, worry, fear, or anxiety. It's natural to feel nervous. Bill feels nervous about taking this test. Sophia says she's nervous about getting married. Drivers might feel nervous when driving on snow and ice. I feel nervous for my son who's getting his wisdom teeth pulled today. The adverb form of this word is nervously. The speaker nervously addressed the audience. The parents nervously waited for their daughter to return home. The little boy approached the edge of the pool nervously before diving in. The noun form of this word is nervousness. Some students experienced a bit of nervousness as they were taking the test. His nervousness was evident by the amount of sweat pouring off of his brow. The young teacher quickly got over her nervousness after the start of the school year. Nest. Birds build nests for their young. The female bird lays eggs in the nest, and when the eggs hatch, the baby birds remain in the nest until they are strong enough to fly off on their own. There were 2 nests in my backyard last summer. Each one had baby birds in it. You can use the word nest for things other than as a home for birds. There's a hornet's nest in the garage. Be careful or they'll sting you. My son's bedroom looks like a rat's nest. It's very messy. Bob and Kathy's children have all left the nest. Bob and Kathy are empty nesters. Never. The word never makes an action or a situation negative. She is never coming back. It's never easy to move to a new country. Frida has never seen snow. Tom says he's never going to work for a large company again. It's useful to contrast the use of never with not. Never provides slightly more emphasis for the negative. He does not drink coffee. He never drinks coffee. I don't ever go to bed early. I never go to bed early. We didn't get our mail. We never got our mail. It won't work. It will never work. The word never can go at the beginning of a command, suggesting advice or some form of instruction. Never watch a scary movie by yourself. Never use your right hand for this. Always use your left hand. Never, ever do that again. The word never is often used for the purpose of exaggeration, or it expresses the rarity of an occasion. He never comes on time. Things never work out for me. Wanda says she's never going to get married. My train is never on time. We would never elect someone like Donald Trump as president. New. The word New is the opposite of old, but we often use words other than new when describing something that is not old. Instead, you might choose to use words like young, fresh, modern, or contemporary. The Hendersons have a new baby. The baby is very young. She's only 10 days old. The grocery store received a new shipment of lettuce. The lettuce is fresh. We bought some new furniture. The colors are very modern. Do you like contemporary furniture? We often use the word new to describe a person who is in a new situation. Zoe has a new boyfriend. Her boyfriend is new to the area. He just found a new job. Everything is new to him. He has a lot to learn. The word new is commonly used in everyday speech. What's new? What's new with you? Have you heard anything new? He's the new guy. He's new. English speakers in the United States sometimes like to borrow words from other languages that substitute for the word new. Nouveau is French, neo is Greek, and nuevo is Spanish. They are members of the nouveau riche. Many people who worked under George Bush were referred to as neoconservative. Feliz Año Nuevo. Newly. The word newly is the adverb form of the adjective new. The concrete is newly laid. You can't walk on newly laid concrete. The website is newly created. It's a newly created website. Bob and Sandra are a newly married couple. Bob and Sandra are newlyweds. A newly elected president doesn't begin his or her term until the month of January following an election. A newly written book by a famous author usually sells very quickly. Some newly made products may take some time before they are accepted by the general public. Next. The word next is used when something or someone is in a sequence. The person or thing that's next is available or second after something else. I'll see you next Wednesday on April 22nd. Next month will be May. We're planning on taking a trip to Mexico next year. Our package should arrive within the next day. After that plane leaves, our plane will be the next one ready for takeoff. In the next lesson, you'll learn how to form the present tense. When living in the United States, you'll hear the word next often in stores, restaurants, government office buildings, etc., as people are being helped or served. Who's next? I can help whoever is next. I can take whoever is next. Would the next person in line please step up to the window? The word next is also used when talking about future plans. What are you going to do next? What's your next move going to be? This will be next. When a person lives on one side of your house or apartment, that person lives next door. Who lives next door? Do you know your next door neighbors? Run next door and see if our neighbor has any eggs we could borrow. The words next to form a preposition. Next to means on the side or side by side. Who lives next to you? The bike is next to the garage. Stand next to each other so that I can take your picture. Nibble. The word nibble is used when taking small bites of food or when eating small amounts of food. The chipmunk is nibbling on an acorn. Tom nibbles on carrots and celery all day to keep his weight in check. Please stop nibbling on the food until our guests arrive. We nibbled on appetizers before the entrees were served. I need something to nibble on. Sandra's baby is nibbling on her pacifier. Niche. A niche is a special area of expertise or a skill. It may be limited to a small number of people or a small demographic area. You often hear people finding their niche, which means to discover a talent within oneself. Abel found his niche as an importer of Peruvian-made jewelry. Charlene has finally found her niche, working in the cosmetics industry. Xavier is still trying to find his niche. Many businesses thrive in New York City due to the existence of niche markets not found elsewhere. Snowboarding, once a niche sport, is now popular wherever there's snow. Product placement in movies and television shows has grown from a form of niche advertising to one that is more mainstream. Nimble. The word nimble is an adjective that is used to describe a person who does things quickly and skillfully. This word can apply to parts of the body, mainly the fingers, hands, feet, and legs, and it can apply to a person's mind. A person with a nimble mind can complete a crossword puzzle quickly. A soccer player who controls the ball well with his feet is nimble on the field. Nimble fingers are needed for someone who works on a hand-woven rug or basket. Young people can usually do things more nimbly than people who are old. A nimble-minded person thinks quickly and is able to respond quickly to a situation. A well-known nursery rhyme includes the word nimble. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack jump over the candlestick. Nip. A small bite of something is a nip. I could feel the fish nipping at my feet as they dangled in the water. Sandra's puppy gave her a little nip. The cold air is nipping at my nose. We're going to have to nip this problem in the bud before it becomes too big. We need to nip it in the bud. The dog gave the man more than a little nip. It was definitely a bite. Sometimes the word nip is short for the word nipple. Bob has a big scar just below his left nip. A person's nips might get hard when it's cold outside or when getting out of a swimming pool. An actress let one of her nips slip out of her dress in order to get some attention from photographers. Nod. If you move your head up and down or side to side, you are nodding your head. Up and down means yes. Side to side means no. Billy's mother nodded her head no when Billy asked if he could have another popsicle. When Lori was asked if she wanted another cup of coffee, she nodded her head and said yes. The students are all nodding their heads after the teacher asked if they would like to leave class 5 minutes early today. The two men are nodding their heads in agreement. The little girl was nodding her head and crying when she saw what happened to her bicycle. Andy nodded his head and smiled at Jennifer as they passed each other in the hallway. Noise. An unpleasant or worrisome sound is a noise. A noise can be soft or loud. Some people like noise, but most people dislike it. In these sentences, the word noise is a noun. Do you hear that noise? There's a noise coming from the refrigerator. My car is making a noise around the engine. What's that noise? A noise indicated a problem with the computer. Noises coming from the attic scared everyone. Some people like the music made by that band. Others say it's just a bunch of noise. The word noisy is an adjective. Rita says her house is too noisy. She needs to go to the library to concentrate on her homework. A noisy child created a disturbance in the supermarket. The kids were being way too noisy, so someone finally asked them to quiet down. Nonsense. Use the word nonsense to refer to a situation or spoken words that lack logic or reason. Or a situation is foolish or stupid. This is nonsense. The words of the speaker amounted to a bunch of nonsense. To say that the earth is flat is nonsense. To claim that white people are smarter or better than other groups of people is nonsense. What is all this nonsense? The teacher grew tired of the nonsense in the classroom and told the misbehaving student to leave. I'm not going to put up with this nonsense any longer. This is nonsense. I don't have to put up with it. The word nonsensical is an adjective. Any politician in the United States who thinks he's above the law is likely to make nonsensical decisions. To believe in luck or magic as a solution to one's problems is nonsensical. Journalists who deal in facts and the truth are able to identify and dissect nonsensical arguments fairly easily. Niece. The daughter of your brother or your sister is your niece. Tom's sister had a baby girl. He is an uncle to the baby. The baby is his niece. Sheila needs to buy a birthday present for her niece. Her niece is turning 4. Sheila is her aunt. Do you have any nieces or nephews? I have several nieces and nephews. One of my nieces is getting married.